Hi everybody, I'm Shelley and this is my best buddy Wendy.
Hi guys.
And before we actually kick off with today, I just want to ask you one question. Have you ever thought what you don't know might be killing you?
And what we'll do is just give you a few seconds there to contemplate on that question.
Okay, so what we'd like to start off with is Wendy's absolutely amazing transformational journey. So without further ado, I'll pass you over to Wendy.
Thanks, Shell. Basically, what happened to me is a few years ago, about 3 years ago now, in fact, going on for 4, I was introduced to improving my diet. And when I was introduced to improving my diet, I saw that my diet was dreadful and it was really unhealthy and I needed to do something to improve it big time. And not only that, my dad and my mum's partner Gordon, and unfortunately my friend Denise, over the last so many years I've lost all of them to cancer, unfortunately. And I used to have this little niggly worry going round in the back of my head, wondering to myself, okay, because it's dad and it's family, it could be my turn one day. And not only that, when will it be my turn? And I didn't like the fact that I didn't have any control over those thoughts. They would just keep coming to me time and time again. So anyway, I decided to take control of my health and improve my diet, which was absolutely fantastic. Those thoughts now are far away from me, so it took care of that, number one. But I also had things that happened to me that I really didn't expect. I lost a load of weight, and for the first time ever, I don't yo-yo diet. 2.5 years later, I'm just as happy and as slim as I want to be. And also my immunity shot through the roof. It's over 3 years now I've not had a cold or the flu, which is an absolute wonderful thing in itself. And all because I was simply introduced to improving my health by using a product that is simply whole foods, juiced and dehydrated, so it's a no-brainer. Why would I turn back? Why would I let those thoughts come back? Why would I lose the fact that I can keep my weight off all the time? So that's my story, short and really condensed, but my life has really transformed. You can probably see I'm as happy as ever, I'm as healthy as ever, and there's no turning back for me.
Thank you, Wendy. What a great transformation. You've got to agree with that, haven't you guys? So what we're going to tend to do now is Wendy's going to go through a short presentation where we will discuss a healthy lifestyle and toxins and what you can and can't do with your health, which you may or may not know, and I hope you enjoy the information. So thank you again, Wendy, it's up to you.
Thank you. We're going to start the presentation shortly, but as Shelley said at the beginning, what you don't know might actually be killing you, so stay around and pick up these really, really healthy tips, and we'll see you shortly after the presentation and chat again.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you for coming along to have a look at our Healthy Revolution information. As you can see on the first slide, that's what we're all about. I'm just going to talk through the other slides for you now to give you some great tips about helping your health and possibly your family's health. So first of all, I'm going to ask you, how are you taking care of you? Are you eating real food? Are you exercising enough? Are you drinking enough water each day? And are you sleeping to 7 to 9 hours? People don't realise all of these are really, really important factors in our daily living. We're just going to talk a little bit here about how healthy living used to be really simple. On the top row here, you can see the little lad on the left. He's got fresh produce from probably grandma or mom's garden, and he's going to give it them to cook, which is the best nutritious way for us to get our nutrients. The next one along, we've got some little kids drinking out of a hose in the garden, what I used to do years ago, and it was quite safe and a great load of fun. On the next slide along, we've got some kids outside, like I did when I was young, probably playing out from dawn till dusk, to be honest, in the summer, so they're getting plenty of exercise. Then there's a little girl on the end there, she's swimming away, or she's been swimming away. And I used to swim a lot. I was a really strong swimmer in a club when I was a teenager, so my health was never, ever in question. But if we go down onto the second row of photographs there, on the left-hand side, we can see the little kids there tucking into their McDonald's, the most famous fast food in the world, probably still. Looking a little bit chubbier than the lad above them, so they look like they might do with a little bit more exercise. Then the next lady along, she's going to dip into her Coke bottle. Basically, it's just coloured sugared water and probably the most famous drink in the world, which is not necessarily that good for us. Next one along, we've got a little lad on his Game Boy or his DS or whatever he's doing on social media or on the screen there. When he comes off that, more likely he's going to be on his social media like we are these days. He also looks like he could do with getting off that sofa and having a little bit more exercise as well to help him. Then the last slide along, we've got a guy in a car. First time I've not had a car in like a long time at the moment, but I'm jogging and walking everywhere. That's really good. But this guy, he looks really lethargic, and when we do have a car, we tend to go to A to B everywhere. So he looks like he needs to plan and get to the gym or do some exercise, but it's not as easy because we have to fit that in to our weekly schedule. On this next one, I'm just going to point out that there's two startling trends in our world today. The first one is food quality is really decreasing, unfortunately. We go into the shops and there's plenty of choice for everybody today. But as you can see, we pick up the produce, what we're going to buy. It could have preservatives, flavour enhancers, emulsifiers, synthetic vitamins. It might be genetically modified. It'll have less nutrients than it used to have. Probably pesticides have been, especially in the produce department, on it. Trans fats, which are not good for us. Artificial colours is a no-no, and also growth hormones. So unfortunately, although we've got all of that choice, we're very rarely picking up something that's really good for us. Just onto the next slide now. Second trend is toxic chemicals putting our health at risk. And I'm not going to give all the abbreviations here, but if you look on the top right, you can see that it says 232 toxic chemicals were found in the umbilical cord blood from US newborns, which is like really appalling to think little babies are already coming into the world and they're already toxic these days. Underneath that, we can see fertility problems are linked to toxic chemicals, also asthma, and on the right hand side there, Parkinson's disease is linked to a specific chemical as well. And with the Parkinson's disease, it states there 100% increase is expected by 2030, which is absolutely dreadful. On the bottom of the slide, you can see all the listed chemicals, and I'm not going to go through them all because they're very lengthy, but basically on the top of each, we've got clothing, we've got food can linings, we've got carpeting, we've got air fresheners, we've got paints, we've got furniture, and many more there. So as you can see, unfortunately, in the world today, there's no escaping being in the environment of these toxic chemicals that do our bodies harm. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide now. We're just going to take a closer look at some of the trends. On the top left there, we've got the junk food with all the compounds in it that really are not good for our bodies. We need to stay away from it as much as possible. Second photograph along, we've got the scales with all the sugary and fatty foods weighing it down there. If we eat too much of that, we're also going to weigh the scales down as well. Next photograph along there, we've got alcohol. Doctors and the medics are always giving us so many units that we can drink each week. People don't always realise that is really toxic to our bodies as well, so we have to be careful how much we take in. On the next photograph along, we've got the pills. We have something wrong with us. First thing we do is off to the doctors. And then after that, the next thing we do is we get the leaflet out and we're like, okay, what are the side effects? How is it going to affect us? So obviously there's some things in there that are not good for our bodies as well. On to the next row now, we've got a lady here, she's looking stressed, sick, she might be worried about work, she might be living in fear, she might be in debt, having late nights. But stress is really not good for our bodies, especially if you have prolonged stress, and that has a bad effect on our bodies. It causes inflammation. If we have chronic inflammation for a period of time, that can set off a chain of other events in our bodies. Next one along, we've got a cigarette. And I've learned recently that there's about 1,400 toxic chemicals in literally just one puff of one cigarette. So that is a senseless thing to do, really. I've smoked occasionally for laughs over the years, but I don't touch them now. I take care of my body. Next slide along, we've got the microwave. And along with that, we've got char grilled food. Microwaving completely destroys 100% of our food. I knew years ago myself it wasn't good for us, but I didn't realise it destroyed 100%. The char grilled food but can be cancer inducing, unfortunately, so we shouldn't eat too much of that either. On to the next row down, we've got the little guy with his toxic waste barrow, but the question is, why isn't there a lid on it when his body is actually, there's not a millimetre of his body showing? Next one along, we've got a little news flash there, London choked by a toxic smog cloud. So that's showing us that some certain weather conditions can be toxic to our bodies as well. Next one along, we've got all the pollutants and the waste going into the sea, not only in sea these days, but it's in rivers as well. And is it safe for little kids to drink out of the garden hose anymore is the question with that one. And then my weakness here, sunshine, the ozone layer doesn't perform like it used to do. So we have to be really careful when we're in sun and cover up, and not only that, put the right chemicals on that aren't going to cause us further trouble in the sunscreens. So that's the trends there. I'm just going to go on to the next one now. So the question is, what do we need to do to combat the trends? The answer is really quite simple. Now you might think, okay, it doesn't look very simple to me because there's some complicated words there, but it's going to be explained. It's really easy. Oxidative stress, that's just the free radicals that are in the atmosphere each day, causes damage to our bodies. And I absolutely love this apple because most of you who are watching, you've probably like cut an apple in half and it started to deteriorate literally within seconds, or you've ate an apple and left the core on the side. It doesn't even take minutes, and that's what free radicals do, and that's what oxidative stress is. And also in our bodies, you can see that lady's aging. So the better we look after our bodies, the younger we're going to look. And you can see here it says in each human cell the DNA is hit about 10,000 times a day by mutagenic oxidants, and that was Professor Bruce Ames from a health science centre there. Now you're looking at another complicated word, so you're probably going to think I'm not telling the truth again when I said there's an easy answer. Phytonutrients are basically plant chemicals, and a lot of my friends say, I'm okay, thanks Wendy, I get my multivitamins to make up the shortfall. But if you look in all the plant chemicals there, which are really good chemicals for your body, there's about 400 listed in just eating one apple. Whereas with a multivitamin, you don't have those. You've probably got about 20 compounds in there that might help our body. So my choice is always take the fruit. So on to the next slide now for you. And the question is, so where are antioxidants and phytonutrients found? I did say it was easy, so here you go. Basically in fruits, vegetables and berries, and there's always been the old saying by everyone, get your 5 a day, get your 5 a day, but not just like a little bit of fruit, veg and berries, it should be 5 full hands a day, and we have to ask ourselves, do we manage to do that? So maybe not so necessarily easy. And on this next slide, you'll actually see today's produce, it doesn't actually give us such good nutrition. Some varieties have lost 5% to a whopping 40% of their nutrient content, unfortunately. And that's been tested by the Journal of Horticulture of Science. And now these days, people are saying we need to have 7 to 13 fruits and vegetables every single day. And if you can imagine you can't get your 5 a day in, it's going to be really difficult to have your 7 to 13 as well. I'm just going to touch on the daily eat well plate now and ask you if yours is balanced. We've got 3/3 majorly. Top left, we've got all the carbohydrate foods, the bread, the pasta, etc., potatoes. On the right hand side there, we've got all the fruit, veg and berries, which are full of all those antioxidants that we need to get into our bodies. And then the bottom section is divided into 3 smaller sections. We've got the protein foods there, the fish, the poultry, the eggs, etc., and the meat. On the right-hand side, we've got the dairy produce, which is not good for us so much because people have discovered now that it causes inflammation. And if you heard earlier, I mentioned that inflammation prolonged of other illnesses in our body. It's been researched and found. Also there, we've got the cow's milk. And I make a joke about this. I swapped to plant milk a couple of years back. Felt so much better for it. But basically what was cow's milk designed for? It was designed for heifers. And I make a joke and say if we drink enough of it, we'll probably turn into heifers too. Anyway, the last little section there is all the sweet food, the colours, you know, the fatty foods, too much oil. And that should be the smallest section that we actually eat. But some years ago, that was like really not a good section for me. I'd eat like all the junk if I wanted to snack, and I really realised that I needed to do something about my diet. So I'm just going to talk a little bit now about this doctor because he found a solution. His name is Smokey Santillo and he's from USA. And basically his dad, well, he's a homeopathic doctor And his dad was really sick, and I'll go on to the slide for you to see what happened to his dad. He got lymphoma. His spleen was the size of a football, I think, and he had chemo, and he had his spleen ripped out, and Dr. Santillo was not happy with the doctors who did this, and he'd only got 3.5 weeks left to live, and then the chemo failed, unfortunately, so he wasn't going to get better, basically. It came to the point where he couldn't eat any food anymore, and everybody thought it was impossible for him to get better, and it was unable to help him get better. And then basically what Santillo did, he offered to take him home and help him with his homeopathic work. So he covered his body in oil. He made a load of juice with all the like real superfoods like kale and spinach, etc., that you can get to go into your body. And he had to feed his father anally because he couldn't eat anymore. But he began to get stronger each day. And basically, 3 months, 6 months, he actually got off his sick bed. He remodeled Smokey's kitchen for him because he was a carpenter. And he went on to live another 6.5 years and do his carpentry work. So then Dr. Santillo thought, okay, if it's worked for my dad, I'm going to try giving it to my patients in my practice. And they were having the powders because he was dehydrating it as well then. And the healings that were observed were no less than miraculous. And he then realised the hidden power of this whole food, because that's all it is. And he decided to patent the product, and these formulas are now available to the whole world. And if we go on to the next slide, you're going to see exactly what it is. So he's got all of these fruit, veg and berries, all the superfoods that you can find. And on the top left there, we've got apple, carrots and beetroot. And if any of you looking at this presentation today go onto YouTube, you'll see that apple, carrot and beetroot are the anti-cancer miracle drink, which is absolutely fantastic. And not only that, if we go down 22 of those ingredients from the top all the way to soya, they're all anti-cancer, but not just anti-cancer, they've got a myriad of other benefits in them as well that have got so many healing properties for us. And then we've got other superfoods there like dates, we've got Norwegian kelp, all the berries that are really good for our heart, ginger and garlic that everybody knows it's really good for us. So he packed some amazing things into this product that he patented. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide now. And we love it because we call it the healthiest fast food on earth, because that's all it is. It's just juiced and then dehydrated. It's got all those important phytonutrients, the good plant chemicals for our bodies. It's non-GMO ingredients. It's dairy-free. It's gluten-free. It's NSF certified. That's basically a company in America that does really, really stringent testing so the product comes through pure. So it's like a third-party quality assurance. It's been clinically researched. There's over 35 published clinical studies, and they're not just any old clinical studies, they're actually peer-reviewed studies. So on to the next slide now. And we're going to play a video shortly, and you can see these children are having fun. They've got like a chewable version of the powdered capsules, and they're throwing them up. They taste just like sweets. They're having a great time. And just to mention here, if a parent takes the fruit and veg capsules, or a friend takes the fruit and veg capsules, children can get these chewable form free for up to 4 years, as long as they're in full-time education. All the parent or friend has to do is fill a questionnaire out, a few times a year to notice any marked improvement in their behaviour. But I'm just going to go on to the next slide now, and it will start the video for you, and really hope that you enjoy it.
Juice Plus is raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables in a capsule or a gummy. I like to call it a salad bar in a capsule. And it's the most thoroughly researched nutritional name brand product on the planet.
I'm a physical therapist, and so the science behind Juice Plus is important to me. But when you combine the science with what it's actually doing in people's lives, it's a no-brainer.
And that really helped me, because when you go into stores, there's shelves and shelves of product and you don't even know what it is, if it's what's in the capsule or the tablet. You have no clue. With Juice Plus, you know.
People want to know. People want to feel better. And they want something simple and doable and easy. And, we get so tired of all these diets and lifestyle plans that are so complicated with pages and pages you have to follow. And This is easy.
You know, life is just crazy, busy, fast-paced world now, and so it's just nice to have an answer like Juice Plus where we can get something that's convenient and simple, because so many times we're just looking for a really fast fix, and you can't get much faster than capsules and soft chews and getting it down quickly. So you don't have to worry about your kids not liking the taste, because there's no taste. You just swallow a capsule. So you don't have to worry about how am I going to prepare this or hide it or be all clever. It's just like, take your Juice Plus.
The fact that it's an easy, simple way for me to get this in my body every single day without thinking about it.
I don't know how much simpler it could get that they actually did the work for us and I don't have to juice.
I don't always have time to chop and dice and slice and clean and all of that. So Juice Plus is a lifesaver.
Where can you go in life and get that? I go to bed every night and go, thank you, Juice Plus.
So I hope you enjoyed seeing that video. We're just going to go on to the next slide now. And that slide tells us a little bit about the Children's Health Study where they get the product for free. Basically, you can see on the list here, they take fewer over-the-counter prescription drugs, they miss fewer days of school, they eat more fruits and vegetables, they visit the doctor less, they consume less fast foods and soft drinks, they drink more water, they're more aware of their health in general, and a whopping 96% of them do actually reap a positive benefit of some kind for taking the Juice Plus. On the next slide, we're just going to chat about the fact that Juice Plus has been proven to be bioavailable. All that means is that it's like absorbed straight into your bloodstream. You take it with like loads of water every day and it begins to heal you at cellular level. And these are some of the things that the studies have shown. Improved heart health, supports the immune system, which it did for me. I've not had a cold or flu in over 3 years. Improves gum tissue. Reduces oxidative stress, those free radicals, by detoxing your body every day. Reduces inflammation, protects your DNA, gives you a healthy skin, helps with childhood obesity, helps the quality of life, and helps with lung health as well. So just on to the next slide now. Here are some universities involved with clinical studies, and I'm not going to list them all, it's just to let you have a look. In the middle there, above the Juice Plus products, you can see MD Anderson Cancer Centre. They're obviously wanting to make cancer history, so they're very interested in doing clinical studies on this product with all the anti-cancer foods in it. So we're just going to chat a little bit about shredding the food toxins and habits that are actually not serving you. And there's a program that we can do called Shred 10 that I'm going to start again on Monday. I do it just very, very occasionally. And it even gets more toxins out of your body again and gives you a really good feeling and a clean bill of health. But basically, I used to do Weight Watchers diets years ago, looking at this slide. And if you think the top one is maybe Weight Watchers, Slimming World or Atkins diet, you can see there that that type of diet, you might lose the weight by whatever method you're using, but all of the toxins are still in your body at the end. And that means that you'll do a rebound. Because the reason those toxins they basically get the fat to cover them, to protect our vital organs, to make it very simple. And so when you lose the weight, your body's smaller, but the mind then thinks, oh, there's more toxins than ever. And then it does emergency fat production to wrap itself around all those toxins again and start protecting your vital organs. But when you do a cleanse, which is our Shred 10, program, the fat stores and the toxins are not a problem anymore. As you can see at the end of the program, you've lost the desired weight, which is absolutely fantastic. But not only that, there's no rebound because there aren't enough toxins to do the emergency fat protection again to your vital organs. So that's just explaining the difference between a normal diet and a cleanse. I'm just going to pop onto the next slide for you now. And I'm just going to talk about our zone of willpower here. You'll see on the chart in the middle there. I used to do Weight Watchers, starving in the morning, starving at night, starving all day. And I'd grab the nearest thing and it wouldn't be the most healthiest food. And then if you look at the light blue line on there, I was always falling out of that zone of willpower because it was high glycemic, food, which meant it like spiked my sugar levels really high. And then I would go for as long as I could without eating and it would fall below the zone of willpower then because it was really low. So it never really helped me and I probably maybe stuck to the program for about a week and that was it. But what we do with Juice Plus, with the shakes, it's low glycemic index, and they're a meal replacement, which really, really helps you keep in that zone of willpower and help you achieve what you want to achieve. I'm just going on to the next slide now. This was my own personal results. On the left there, that was me day 1. On the right there, the same outfit, that was me on day 30. I couldn't believe how the fat was just dropping off me. 4 months on, I kept to like a better, what can I say, a better diet produce-wise, because I liked the way I felt after I'd done my Transform 30. Still eat other types of food again, but I just got leaner and leaner. And then 2 years on my travels, that was me on the beach at Christmas time. Still happy to go on the beach in my bikini, and it's a weight off my shoulders now because I don't yo-yo anymore. It's wonderful. So some of the most common results when anyone does a Shred 10 is we end up craving more fruits and vegetables. That's a tick for me. Healthier weight. That's also a tick for me. Better recovery from workout. That always happens. Improved sleep. I sleep much better than I did years ago. Increased energy, for sure. Healthier hair, nails and skin, especially me, my nails. I'm always filing them down every 2 weeks because they grow so quickly now. But not only that, they're really the strongest they've ever been. They always used to be really weak. Improved regularity, yes. And increased mental clarity. Well, I always make a joke about that one because I'm menopausal now, but it helps me in so many ways. On to the next slide. So just to mention that we're a healthy living community, we have got a website, Healthy Living Revolution, for people to look at. There's a free cookbook on there. We do private Facebook groups. You've heard me mention about the children program where they can get free product. We do live events out in the community, and like we've done tonight. We continue education with people if they do choose to join us in any way whatsoever. And the first thing that people ask, okay, how much is it going to cost me? Well, if you take the trio, which is 30 fruits, veg and berries there, just £2 for a day. You couldn't even go out and buy a coffee for that these days, to be honest. The shakes, literally just £1.76 per serving as a meal replacement. What healthy meal are you going to get for that? And I think there's 17 or maybe 19 produce in there now that are helping your body big time. So who is the company that do this? Basically, they're called NSA, and they've always been interested in the health of people. Originally, they did smoke detectors, and when that market got saturated, if you'll excuse the pun, they went into water filters, and that got saturated as well. And then obviously Smokey Santillo came up with this amazing idea, and they thought it was so brilliant how it helps people with their health. They would take that on board as well, because they've always focused on the importance of people's health, scientific research that backs it up, and also in the value of people. And they've been marketing the health products for over 40 years in more than 20 countries worldwide. So I'm going to go on to the next slide now. So we invite you, whoever's looking at our presentation today, to join us, whether you're interested in maybe improving your health or helping your friends and family or your children with it. You might want to maybe take some of the products and give them a whirl, or you might want to join the business and do what we do, inspiring healthy living around the world and helping other people. Just for £50, you're literally in business with your website up and running, just like that. So we'd invite you to join us if you're interested. And I'm just going to go on to say this is a little bit of food for thought. At the beginning of the world, God actually said, "Behold, I've given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed, it shall be food for you." So that's just sort of explaining that we did have a blueprint of what to follow, but unfortunately we don't adhere to it these days, and it's getting worse and worse, and I think that's why sickness is on the rise, unfortunately. Now, Shelley's journey is coming up. We do not make any medical claims, as everybody is different, but we do, however, like to share our stories, as so many lives have improved with improved nutrition. Hi guys, and welcome back. We both really hope you enjoyed the information that we've given to you and that you've learned some really good, useful, healthy tips. I've got a little surprise for you now. Shelley's going to tell us her story. And it's quite incredible where Shelley started and where she's finished up. So I'm going to pass over to you now, Shell, And I hope you guys really enjoy hearing this. I never get fed up of listening to Shelley's story.
Thanks, Wendy.
Welcome.
Okay, guys. Well, where we always are is we never think that our health is ever going to be bad. We always think it's always going to happen to the other guy, and I'm no different. But unfortunately, the health monster caught me, and I've got MS. How it all started, I just started off with a bit of pins and needles in my big toe, and I thought, what can it be, you know? But it progressed. I got weakness in my right leg. I went to the doctor, and she turned around to me and said, you know, you're getting old, Shelley, go home, do some exercises, I'm sure everything will be okay. I did, and you know, guess what? It wasn't. It progressed to the worst point of being numb, with pins and needles right up both legs, all the way up to just underneath my bust line. It was painful, but not. I mean, although it was numb, I couldn't stand my clothes touching me, I couldn't stand my kids hugging me, which was not only physically upsetting for me, it was emotionally as well, having to push my kids away because they were hurting mum, but didn't understand it, that they couldn't hug mum because it hurt. So I had that, and I was falling over all the time. I was covered from head to toe in cuts and bruises. Ironically as it sounds, I actually learnt how to fall, so I didn't hurt myself, thank God. I was fatigued, and when you hear people talking about fatigue, you think, you know, it's just a bit of tiredness. My God, I never actually knew what fatigue was until I ended up with my MS. It literally is like you're hitting a brick wall, and this happened to me about 3:30 every day. No matter what I was doing, if I didn't stop, my body would stop me. I had to come in, I had to go and lie down no matter where I was and have a sleep, even if it was just 5 or 10 minutes, and that would get me back again. I was in a really bad place, and I was depressed and everything like this, and my friend got me and said, you know something, Shell, why don't you try this whole food supplement that I'm on? And so I thought, you know, nothing ventured, so I did, and thinking I can just take the capsules, that's it. So I did for about 6 or 7 months, and thought, it's not happening, it's not working. So I came off them. Little did I know that it was working, but probably not quick enough for me, or what I thought should be quick enough for me. And so I started to get a regression, and I started to feel worse. I put a lot of weight on. I was in such a deep, dark place that I was thinking the world and my kids would be better off without me, because I was well insured, and thinking, you know, if they had the money to look after themselves, at least they wouldn't have to look after me. I mean, talk about madness or what? And thank God that isn't the case. So my friend grabbed me and says, look, Shelley, this isn't you. Get a grip, get hold of yourself, come on. And they've just brought out another part of the programme called the Shred. And try it. So I thought, you know what? I'd try anything, absolutely anything at this point, because nothing ventured, you know? So I got on the product, not really, if I'm truthful, expecting anything to happen. And so I was on it for 30 days. I thought, wow, I've lost 16 pounds. Result, at least I've lost a bit of weight. But then I started to notice other things, like I was getting most of my feeling back. I mean, where I am today, I'd say I got about 90% of my feeling back in my legs. It's just little patches here and there. I'm not numb at all from my waist down. It's just little patches in my legs and my feet now. I don't fall over anywhere near as much now. It's when I've pushed myself too hard that I might get a bit wobbly, but I don't actually fall. Fatigue is a thing of the past. It's way back there in the distance. I sleep like a log every night through the night. I'm a lot happier, I'm a lot healthier, I'm a lot thinner, you know, so this may sound dramatic to you, but to me this is what I believe and how I feel. It gave me my life back, so why wouldn't I? And here's a question for you, why wouldn't you? I mean, seriously, it's your health. What is your health worth? Don't be mental like I was and wait until, you know, you got a disease that you can't cure. This won't cure me, far from it, but it gives me my life back, and it gives me a better playing field to help me fight it. And every day, that's what it is. It's a fight, and I fight it every single day with my healthy lifestyle, my adding nutrition from the whole food products, because that's all it is. It's just whole food in a capsule. And you know, this is what it is. This is what it is, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, just before I finish there, because I'm going on a little bit, what happened then, my friend says to me, why don't you join the business? And I says, look, Di, I've got a successful business. I don't need another form of income. I'm not interested. And so she says to me, you can save a bit of money, you know, Shelley, if you join the business on what you're actually buying yourself. So obviously this appealed to me. And so I said, yeah, okay, you know, £50. What is £50 to save me a bit of money? And so, because I wasn't coming off this product, so I'm thinking I may as well be my own customer. So that's what I did. And then people started to notice in myself that the old Shelley was back, and they were saying to me, wow, Shell, you look amazing. What have you done? I thought you were ill, you know? And I said, I'm still ill. I said, but this is what I've done. And they were saying, you know, do you think it'd help with what we've got with our arthritis? I'm not going to list them all because there's quite a few people who've come on the product as well. And do you think it'd help? And I said, look, I doubted when I first started. I even stopped. I says, but what have you got to lose? Seriously. And so they got on the product. And then they were coming to me and saying, thanks, Shell. You've actually helped me transform my life. I'm like, wow, that's blown me away. These friends, families, people I've just met are coming to me and saying, thanks, Shelley, that's amazing. You've changed my life, thank you. And I'm like, this has blown me away, because I just didn't expect gratitude. So here I am, sat here, 100 times better than what I was in 2015 when I was diagnosed first with multiple sclerosis. I've got friends, families and people who have met and says, you know, come on, try this on the product, and they're thanking me. And just when I think it can't get any better, on the 10th of the month, the company pays me as well. So, you know, to me, it's a triple whammy. What I'm going to say to you is, if you're not on it, why aren't you on it? Come join us, come on. So with that, I shall stop, because otherwise I can go on all day long, and I'll pass you back to Wendy. Thank you for listening.
Love your story, Shell. Isn't that absolutely magnificent, guys? You know, someone can actually come from a really, really dark place to now be like in the place of light again. So that's absolutely fantastic. And just to point out, this product, it's not meant to replace your good diet. What it's supposed to do is bridge the gap of what you don't get into your diet every week or every day. We've all got full intention of, you know, having a good diet, but busy lives, how many of us do it? Do you get your 5 a day? Now should be 7 to 13. Very, very unlikely. But when you have this, you've got that secure thoughts going through, you know, fear is gone, you know you're having a decent diet. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you've got a good diet. And I've got a friend who's like really sick at the moment, and she's seen the presentation. It doesn't resonate with everybody. She's not going to start the product, but she could be another statistic. And I really don't understand why, because, well, I just don't understand why. But after what I've learnt now and the results I've seen, it works for me, it works for my friends, it works for people who like join forces and start taking it. It's a no-brainer.
And it can work for you.
Definitely. So, you know, and putting it into practical use and just seeing for yourself is the best thing that you could ever do.